Why did the cabbage win the race?
Why?
Because he was ahead.
Lettuces can have heads too.
Well, the cabbage won.
Oh, okay.
Hungry Squared, bringing you the best food talk anywhere.
Welcome to the Hungry Squared podcast, where the brain and belly meet. My name is Sharon. I'm from the Wasatch Cooking Guide.
And I'm Winter from theredparty.com. This week, we're talking about Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving.
Hey,
Yay!
I love food.
Me
Food
too.
holidays.
Woohoo! Let's talk about it.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.
Hey Sharon, how's your week been? Have you eaten anything fun this week at all?
I had curry this
Oh.
week. I made a chana masala.
So you made this
Yes,
yourself. Okay.
I did, and I think the technique is called pince.
I don't know what that is.
When you cook down the tomato paste
Oh, okay.
and you reduce it so the sugar cooks out of it. And so I was a little bit worried because I was cooking it in my cast iron, and I wasn't worried about the tomatoes being in the cast iron, but I was worried that I had actually burnt it because I could see some blackness.
Oh.
Because I caramelized the onions and then I put the tomato paste in to do this pince thing, and
So there may have been some kind of residual
char.
from the caramelization. Well,
Yes.
that happens, right?
Yeah, but I was really worried because there was a lot of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was worried that it would taste burnt, but it didn't, and so it was super good.
So what is all in this dish?
For
For those who do not know curries well.
So chana masala is similar to tikka masala. It's just beans. It's garbanzo beans instead. So it's a tomato-based curry.
Okay.
It's kind of a sweet and spicy, and it's got garbanzo beans in it.
Full whole.
Yeah, whole beans.
Okay.
Mm.
And other vegetables?
I've put vegetables in there, but I mean, there's onion and garlic.
Okay. So
And the
not
tomatoes.
necessarily needing other
Yeah.
potatoes, carrots, or whatever. You could just do whatever.
Yeah, I've put potatoes in there, and that's been good. I've put carrots and mushrooms in there, and I didn't think that was the best combination. So, but the potatoes work. I think the potatoes and carrots could work, but
That would be
they didn't work with the mushrooms as well.
as well. Interesting.
yeah.
That sounds kind of good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm glad you got to cooking.
What did you eat this week?
So I had a couple of really fun things this week. First of all, I had just it and it was all like vegetarian. And
Oh, really?
yes, I had a good vegetarian week.
So we're both eating vegetarian this week.
Yes, we are. So I had a friend. We were just out with Lee and I were out with her husband and her. We were having dinner together. And she's like, "Hey, I was at this Asian market and I picked up this vegetarian beef jerky." I guess it's vegetarian jerky.
Sorry, vegetarian jerky?
Yeah, right?
Is it tofu? What is it?
No, it wasn't tofu. And she said
Oh,
that
thank
she's
goodness.
had... So this is my vegan friend.
Oh, yeah.
And she was there at this Asian market and they're super nice because they want to like, "Hey, you should try this." I mean, "Oh, you're vegan? Okay, well, try this." And so they gave her this package of a vegetarian jerky and it was made out of mushrooms.
Really?
And it was weird because we all tried it and the texture was just like beef jerky.
It was?
Yeah, it was really good. And I feel like they used maybe the woody stem.
Okay.
So, and then they just spiced it really well. Like it was really tasty. So we were all just like, "This is weird."
So did it taste good then?
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
I think
that's
I would
awesome.
eat it again.
I would love to try it.
Okay. Well, I'll maybe go stop by and pick some up, but it was
I'm
tasty.
excited that it wasn't a tofu type.
Yeah. She
jerky.
said, she's definitely said that she has
I've
tried the
had some of
tofu
those
jerky.
types of things, and they're not very
Yeah.
yummy.
She's like, "Oh, it's not good." So this one was a keeper. I think I would buy it. Would definitely buy it. So, and then the other thing that I got was I somehow got hooked up with somebody on Instagram. Just like I found her profile and she had posted a picture of persimmons that she'd sliced up and she said that she was about to put them into the dehydrator.
The suspicious persimmon.
Yes. Do you guys, so a persimmon is this fruit. It's orange. The flesh is orange and it's kind of, I think, tamer in taste. It's not a like poppy in the mouth type of a flavor, but I think it's pleasant. But that's because I grew up eating persimmons.
Oh, did you?
I did, yeah. So some people have not. Like Lee, the first time he ate a persimmon was I introduced it to him like maybe a year ago. And he's like, I don't like it. I'm like, okay, it's not for everybody. I get it. So
what do you eat them in usually?
Oh, I just peel the outside and just slice it up.
Oh, and just eat it
and
that
just
way.
eat it. Because I think if they're ripe and perfect, they're quite tasty. So
how do you tell if they're ripe?
They need to not be super firm. You can start feeling it getting softer when you give it a little squeeze.
So does it ripen? If you buy it firmed, will it ripen?
Yes.
Oh,
just put it outside, not outside, just on your counter. Don't put
Okay.
it in the fridge. Just put it on the counter and just give it a squeeze whenever you want it. So this person that I saw, she was dehydrating persimmons, and I just commented, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've never had them dried before. They're delicious fresh. So we kind of went back and forth, and she's like, I'll totally send some to you. I was like, what? Really?
That's so nice. And you saw her where?
So she's on Instagram, and her, so this is, I want to shout out to Robin at Vegan Doll House. So if anybody wants to check her website out, it's vegandollhouse.com. And then she's at Vegan Doll House on Instagram. And she also has a podcast too. Like, it was just one of those things where like after a while I was like, started like looking at her page and like all the stuff that she does. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to listen to her podcast. And it was really fun because they talk about her friend, and they talk about all of these kind of animal friendly type topics, and it's nice. It's really a great fun podcast. They have great chemistry together. So, but she sent me, it was like, really, you're gonna send me some? So she sent me some dried persimmons, and they're good. But that's because I like persimmons. I gave one to Lee, and he was like, it's like a cross between a banana and a tomato. And I was like, that's a weird cross. I think
bonado.
Yeah. I think it's more like a banana, maybe a mango-y, maybe papaya. So
I think it might taste good. So the last time before today that I've had a persimmon was when I was about 6, and I had persimmon cookies, which my grandmother trickily made for me and told me that they were just like chocolate chip cookies, but with persimmons.
Oh. Well, and see, the thing is, that's
Very
not,
disappointing.
that would be disappointing because a chocolate chip cookie is very, like, chocolate's gonna.
Well, 6-year-old me was super ticked off.
Yeah.
And I have not eaten one since today.
Okay. I think they're really tasty. And once again, it's not for everybody. So give it a try. I think they're yummy. Maybe not make persimmon cookies and promise that it's going to be a chocolate chip cookie for somebody, or else they're just going to hate that and you.
And, decades will go by and they will not eat your persimmon again.
Yeah, ever again. I thought it was tasty. So shout out to Robin. Thank you again. That was so nice. So nice of you to send those over, and check out our page and her Instagram there. It's delightful. She seems so fun. I kind of want to meet her in person.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yay for new friends and treats.
Yeah.
And now for the main course.
Okay, let's get down to our topic at hand. Thanksgiving.
Yay!
And all the trimmings and traditions.
All that fun stuff. So, of course, we had to do a Thanksgiving episode, right?
Yes, because it's the best food holiday ever.
Ever. So, Sharon, how did you celebrate Thanksgiving in your family?
So my immediate family is small. There's just me and my brother and my parents. And so when I was growing up, my mom went all out. Like, that's when the tablecloth came out, and she would take her crystal out and we would drink out of her crystal glasses, and it was very fancy.
It's very fancy.
We would sometimes eat by candlelight.
Really?
It was really cool. It was cool. And so
that would make it special. You're right.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
she would turn out all the lights in the dining room and the kitchen. And like, we'd have like the hall light on or whatever, so you could actually see. But she had a candelabra and like a couple of candlesticks, and she would light candles, and we would eat by candlelight and drink out of crystal. And it was very fancy. But I mean, I wasn't super little, so I wouldn't break anything. But
Right.
then when I was in junior high, we moved to Louisiana. And we moved into the same neighborhood that my grandparents and my cousins lived in.
Oh.
And so then it was like I had immediately this huge family, because every Sunday we would have family dinner together. either at my house, my cousin's house, or my grandparents'
Wow.
house. And
Wow,
sometimes
that's a lot
we
of
would
people.
invite people from church over.
Mm-hmm.
And so you easily had 20 to 30 people at dinner.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. But it was really fun. Well, holidays, we had more closer to 30. I would say on our typical
Sunday dinner,
dinner, it was probably more like 15 to 20, I'd guess.
Still an impressive number.
So yeah. So, and then I think I've said before, like every major holiday that my family
Oh, yeah. They would rotate.
celebrates, they would rotate
Right.
the house who did it. So if it was our turn for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or New Year's, like we basically, started preparations like a day or two before.
Yeah, I was like days before.
Yeah. And I mean, we had large crock pots full of mashed potatoes.
Yes.
And
You
like
would
you'd
have
have
to.
to have a couple of those.
Mhm.
Then you had another separate crock pot that only had gravy.
Yes.
And then, we've got a double oven going. And so there's a giant turkey and we also have a huge ham. Or, on the years that we were lucky, like somebody would go and pick up, like scheduled the pickup for the fried turkey at the restaurant nearby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
That's
so
right. Mhm.
Then that kind of saves some time. But I mean, my mom's really into making pies and stuff. And so we had tons of pie growing up and things like that. So it was fun. I mean, we've always had big family dinners.
That sounds like so much fun.
But as an adult for Thanksgiving, I have always considered it my free holiday.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because I moved out of state to go to school right after high school,
Mhm, mhm.
to go to college. And so, I didn't go home for Thanksgiving because it was too close to Christmas and I couldn't afford a plane
Yeah.
ticket for both of those
It totally doesn't
holidays.
make sense to go home for both of them.
So I got used to spending Thanksgiving away from home, and it wasn't a big deal. I would go with friends. Sometimes I spent it with random family that I had around,
Mm-hmm.
but I usually have to travel like a shorter distance to get to them.
Okay.
But a lot of times I would just go with friends and they would take me to their houses or we would just kind of do whatever.
Thank goodness for friends,
Yeah.
because I've spent a plenty like that as well. So
Yeah. So I was the random stranger that people would bring home.
here's my
But it
roommate.
was fun. Like, I mean, I got to know a lot of new people and
Yeah.
participate in other people's family traditions and stuff like that. And it was cool.
So fun.
What do you guys do? What did you grow up doing?
I love Thanksgiving. I think it's probably my favorite. Yeah, I think easily it's my favorite holiday,
Yeah.
hands down, because there's no pressure of like gifts and it's just the food and the gathering.
Yes. You get
And-
to have fun and eat food.
Yes. And so this is how we did it as kids when I was a kid. So we would start in the morning and my dad would get a turkey usually in the oven pretty early, I think. And then the rest of the day would involve getting other things ready. And it was a big deal in my family to make stovetop stuffing
Yes.
and mashed potatoes and gravy. And the mashed potatoes were the flakes.
Yes. I actually never had real potatoes until I was an adult.
Yeah, right? So
They're so good out of the flake.
right. Yeah, I just think they're good because that's what I grew up on. We would have rolls. We would, I think we would buy the Rhodes rolls.
Oh, sure.
So we baked them
and they were fancy.
and they were fancy.
Mhm.
Like those were wonderful. And then without fail, we would have pumpkin pie. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me back up to the main dish, the main dishes, the savory ones. Without fail, we would have pot stickers. And there would be like
That's
an hour
awesome.
long pot sticker folding session before things got done.
Oh, sure.
So we'd sit around the table and stuff and fold pot stickers for like an hour.
like we did at your bachelorette party.
Yeah, pretty
Or-
much.
I guess that wasn't really your bachelorette
Yeah, it was like,
party.
help me
That
with
was
my
the
wedding.
night before your wedding.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we would do. We would make these pot stickers. And so, and they would be on these beautiful, I mean, and if you think about it, there's like 5 little kids sitting around the table.
Who have very dexterous hands. So
Yes.
they may as well do those intricate pleats on the pot sticker.
Yeah, exactly. So and that was a lot of pot stickers. Like you don't even understand. Like there was a lot of pot stickers, and we would just start frying them up, and that would be like the appetizer. You know how you just have, you have a fruit tray, or some crackers and a cheese ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Our appetizers were pot stickers generally.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then my dad would generally do something that was a Chinese stir fry of some sort instead of like doing a green bean casserole or something like that. Because who does that when you're Chinese and you can whip up a really nice stir fry or some steamed vegetables or something. So he would do that. And then for dessert, we basically only, oh my gosh, I forgot one of the things. Sweet potatoes, yams are so huge in my family.
Really?
Yep. That is a thing that we have to have. Like we could care less about everything else, but the sweet potatoes,
Oh, wow.
like we fight over that. Yeah. There's got to be marshmallows.
You're marshmallow people.
Well, we do marshmallows. I've changed mine a little bit. So it's a little bit more of a casserole type thing. So it's a little bit more pureed. So I have a crumble on top of mine, but there's a lot of sugar and butter and other things. But usually when we were kids, marshmallows, mini marshmallows.
Wow.
And then pumpkin pie. Like that was the dessert we had. There was no other pies to really choose from. I think maybe occasionally we'd have something, but like everybody, we had pumpkin pie. That's what we ate.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was.
We had pumpkin pie, but we always had an apple and a cherry.
Oh, really?
And chocolate for me because I didn't like pie until I was a teenager.
Isn't that funny how that works? So.
Yeah. So my mom would make 2 fruit pies, pumpkin, and a chocolate type of pudding pie type thing for me.
I love chocolate pudding pies actually. Super good. So the other thing that made our Thanksgivings super special to me is after dinner, we'd clean up, put everything away. Well, there'd be some stuff that was out. Like, you can kind of munch on this and this, but most of the food was put away. I think the pumpkin pie stayed. But we would set up the table. We'd make the table small again, and we would proceed to play mahjong.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And it's a 4-person Chinese game, you guys. So everybody's like, oh, mahjong, that tile game. Yes, it is a tile game, but it's not a matching game like it is on the computer. It's like a poker game, a Chinese poker game.
Nice.
Yeah. And that we would just play that until the end of the evening. And the person that was like, we always had a couple extra people. So those people like watched a movie or hung out, just didn't really do too much. And then when somebody lost, and they'd rotate in and
okay.
Yeah. So we'd just play mahjong for chips. It wasn't not like chips, like poker chip type things.
Yeah.
And they didn't really mean anything except for that if you got a big stack of stuff, then you won.
That's so fun.
I know.
My family would play football.
Oh, really? So you did have the...
Yeah. So we would do like our little turkey bowl or whatever. And some years we played with a Nerf ball. Some years we played with a real one. I remember there's been sprained ankles, broken fingers, different things like that with our family football.
I've never, we've never been a huge football family. So when I hear people that do that, I was like, that's a really fun, like little activity. But it sounds kind of dangerous as well.
It totally is. I mean, we played croquet dangerously. So why wouldn't we play football dangerously?
Dangerous croquet.
Well, we tried to, you can huck those balls up in the air and like hit somebody in the head.
Oh,
we tried to do that all the time.
That was the point of it. No,
we were roughhousey children.
Nice.
But yeah, so we would play football, and we always had a puzzle. Our family always had puzzles. And so,
just sitting out on a card table or
on a
something?
card table. And
you
so
could
as you're passing by, or like maybe 2 people would be working on the puzzle, or like 5 people, and just sit around and chat and work on the puzzle.
Nice.
Yeah.
That I kind of like those fun activities.
Sometimes we'd hide the puzzle pieces from our grandma. we were just jerks.
I was like, you guys are jerks. Why would you do that?
Well, because, when you have that many people together in one spot, the puzzle gets finished pretty quick.
Yeah.
So then like you take out key pieces from the middle.
Yeah. So that people can't.
And just put it in your pocket. Something.
And maybe drop it back later.
Mm-hmm. Or put it near somebody's place setting. So it looks like they stole the puzzle piece and you didn't.
Oh man, you're jerks.
We were.
And you planted evidence on people.
I think all of us did it. It was just funny.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Well, we are going to talk a little bit, and this was kind of a fun free-for-all topic for us. So
Thanksgiving is a free-for-all.
Yeah, it really is. And there's so much to talk about with Thanksgiving. Like we can go into and I feel like things have been covered a lot
but I feel like there's an elephant in the room when we talk about Thanksgiving winter.
And that elephant is the turkey.
Which isn't really an elephant at all.
And no, it's a turkey. Okay, Sharon, do you like turkey?
I do. It's not, so depending on the turkey, it's not my favorite meat, but I really do like it.
Okay.
So it kind of depends on how it's cooked. Some turkeys are really dry.
Yes. And that's what I want to talk about with you today, everybody. We're releasing this episode a couple of weeks in advance so you can consider your turkey making prospects, okay? Because for Thanksgiving this year, Lee and I are having a little Orphan Annie Thanksgiving dinner.
Fun.
Yeah, so we're not going to his parents' house. We're just hanging out here at our house and we're making dinner because they're going somewhere. And so we're going to just see who's in town and who needs a place to go. So for Thanksgiving dinner. So, and we may
Those are the best.
We just may bust out a mahjong game too. Anyway, so we need to make a turkey and I want your turkey to be very juicy, people.
Juicy.
And
moist.
I wasn't going to say that word because I know it bugs a lot of people.
A juicy turkey.
A juicy turkey. So we're going to use that term, everybody. So I was introduced to brining a turkey a while back when I was watching the show Good Eats with the host Alton Brown. If you don't know who he is, you need to check him out because he's kind of our spirit animal.
Yes.
# spirit animal. And so what a wet brine. So this is considered wet brining, what I had watched on his show, Good Eats. It's no longer on, but it's coming back via the interwebs, which is so exciting, everybody. You would take a kind of a gallon, like a 5-gallon bucket, or for example, you could take one of those big water coolers, those insulated water cooler things, and fill it with some hot water. Let it cool down a little bit. You're going to add some salt and some brown sugar, and it's quite a bit of salt and quite a bit of brown sugar. It's a pound of each. Then you stick your turkey in and you submerge it, and then add ice to it, about 5 pounds of ice, and that'll keep it cold. And then leave it in there for about 8 to 16 hours. Basically it. And
do you put it back in the fridge
afterward
while it's brining?
No. If for example,
are you brining it in your garage or like the corner of the kitchen?
You can do it in the corner of the kitchen, but you have to have it cold. You have to keep it cold for safety, food safety reasons, right? So that's why the ice is there. And if you put it in one of those coolers that have that insulated water cooler things, it'll stay cold. Like you seal the lid and it will stay cold for your 16 hours actually. So,
nice.
However, I did it with the 5-gallon bucket and I had to I did it in my kitchen and I kind of put it off to the side. This was when I was single and I had roommates.
Like a Home Depot bucket?
Yep. I cleaned that out.
Oh my gosh.
And did this brine and I was pretty excited about it. And I just remember thinking, gosh, this is not well submerged. So I'm going to have to flip it. So in the middle of the night. So it didn't go well actually. So I added ice obviously to it, just make sure that it was still a good temperature range. But in the middle of the night, if you can imagine like me 2 in the morning, like super kind of bleary eyed, and then go down there trying to flip the bird in the bucket, people. Sheesh. And it kind of slipped out of my hands a little bit and it may have plopped back into the water and splashed all this turkey water everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. However, it did turn out well.
Okay.
So the kind of the principle of it is that you add salt, and salt acts to break down the proteins in like certain muscles fibers. So, and then the muscle fibers kind of lose their ability to contract. So when heat is applied, so when it starts cooking, when you actually start putting it into the oven and the heat is applied and it's cooking, then there's less contraction of the muscle and less water is squeezed out. Does that make sense? Kind of like, so it retains its juicier and generally a little bit more flavorful, I think is what they say. Now, however, as I looked into this a little bit more, so there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's good because you do come out with a bird that is not dry. Because that's one thing, that's maybe the reason why I don't like turkey sometimes is that it's dry. Yeah. I go for the dark meat. That's just the way I roll because I don't want it to be dry.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I think that I would like to introduce people to today, if you have a chance and you would like to try this, I think you should try dry brining.
Oh, that might be easier.
Yes. It doesn't involve all the get up, the setup,
You don't have to have a bucket.
You don't have to have a bucket. You don't have to splash water on yourself at 2 a.m. because
Although if you wanted to get a bucket, you can get a brining bucket at a kitchen store.
Oh, yes.
A kitchen goods store. So you don't have to go to the Home Depot.
Yeah.
You can get a bucket made for a turkey.
Yeah. So you could do that.
Out there.
So as I looked more into dry brining, I was like, I think this might be kind of a fun thing to do. So
what does it involve?
Okay, let me just show you, and this is why I think it's pretty awesome. So what you do is you get your turkey out, you pat it dry, and then you're going to add, you're going to mix together some kosher salt, about 6 tablespoons or so, I'd say, yeah, with 2 tablespoons of baking powder in a bowl.
How big is the turkey that we're talking about here?
Let me think. You're going to have plenty. Regardless, because that's kind of a lot.
So if I had a 12 pound
Yeah.
or an 18 pound.
12, 18 pound, whatever. I would say.
So this works for a variety.
Yeah, I would say
sizes.
maybe just go for, because you always run the risk of, regardless of what the size, you run the risk of drying something out if it's too huge because you're worried about things getting fully cooked, right? So maybe just stick with a 15-pound bird.
Yeah.
I would say that would be the max.
Okay.
In my personal opinion. I think I've done ones that are bigger and it's not turned out well. Parts of it's not done well, that type of thing. So
yeah, when you go for 20 pounds, it gets a little sketchy. And then you're just drying everything out. Yeah.
Because you're trying to
get
everything
it to temperature.
Yeah. So don't buy a super bird. Just buy a regular size bird. So you are going to mix this stuff together. So it's baking powder and salt, basic stuff. And I'm going to talk a little. You're looking at me like, Winter, why are we
baking powder?
Yeah.
That's the look.
Okay.
Is the baking powder.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to talk about that in 2 seconds. So you're going to pat the turkey dry with paper towels. Be very careful. Use your food safety, hygiene, that type of thing. And then you are going to pick up this mixture, the salt and the baking powder, and you're going to, with your fingers, and you're going to sprinkle it above the bird, probably 6 to 10 inches above the bird, so that there's even coverage over the bird. And once again, it just needs to be well coated. It doesn't need to be totally encrusted with this stuff. And you will probably have leftover, is kind of some of the different reports that I've seen. So then you're going to transfer it to a baking sheet, and then you're going to refrigerate it for 12 to 24 hours. So this is the brining process. You will have to take into consideration, if you are going to season it or something like that, you have already put salt on there. So omit any salt that is already.
Don't make it overly salty.
Yes, because that's no fun either, right? So dry brining for 12 hours can do the trick, because once again, the salt is going to break down the different fibers, and then you're going to create this. So the juice is going to combine with the salt, and then the moisture is going to kind of go back into the bird, because you kind of create this super concentrated brine on the outside, and then it just brings things back into the bird, just makes it juicier. So the plus thing about doing a dry brine is that you're not introducing extra water into it. You're just helping the bird retain the moisture it has already.
So it's just going to suck it in and keep it in.
Yeah, and it's going to taste better. So with a wet brine, you're introducing additional water that's going into the bird.
Right.
From the water that it's being sitting in. And it does a good job of keeping it, but it kind of dilutes the flavor of the turkey. So the cool thing about dry brining is that I think you do a better job of retaining a tastier bird, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So now you may ask, why the baking powder?
Yes, I'm dying to know.
So I actually had to go lean. I had to talk it out quite a bit, because I was like, I don't understand why.
Yeah. Isn't it going to taste funky?
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
I was worried about that. Okay. So what I think happens, is the baking powder. Okay. So the salt's going to break down things, and the baking powder will also start breaking down some of the skin proteins, and it will allow it to, because baking powder, remember, has a base, baking soda, which is your base,
right,
plus a dry acid, generally cream of tartar.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and once again, they're generally double acting. So the first acting
Is
So-
on contact.
is on contact with fluid, right? With moisture.
Okay.
So that happens when you add water, for example. And well, if you sprinkle it on top of this bird, which is a little damp, you've patted it dry as
Right,
best as
but
you
it's
can.
still it's not bone dry.
Yes, there's still moisture on there. So you start getting some action there. The acid and the base are reacting with each other. So we had to kind of think about this. So the baking soda I feel like is breaking things down. And then you have this reaction that's happening and it causes bubbles on the surface of your skin, right?
Yeah.
And which creates greater surface area for the skin to be browned. So thus making it crispier.
Oh. So it crisps up your skin without having to fry it or anything.
Yes. And if you'll think about it, like I think there are a few recipes, actually quite a few recipes with that of fried chicken that involve baking powder for that same reason.
Yes.
Increases surface area
Yes.
to create that more crispy skin crunch.
Okay.
Isn't that
I'm
fun?
totally learning new things. You should see my face right now.
Yeah.
I'm like the ponder light bulb.
Yeah, I had to do that. I was like, I don't understand this when I was researching it. And I just had to think about it a lot more because I was like, Lee, and this is the other thing that I'm kind of having a hard time wrapping my brain around. So let's talk about this. So it's double acting. So upon applying, it bubbles, right?
Sure.
I was like, Lee, how's that going to work though? Because it's going to sit in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours. Am I going to use up all my bubbles, like the reactions? And I think because there's a double acting property.
Right, because that's the first act. But
Mhm.
like act 2 is your heat.
Yes. And so
no.
I think maybe not everything is going to be used up. Plus it's going to be in the fridge. So I feel like the reaction is going to be slowed down in the fridge. And then when you start applying the heat, then there goes the double acting. And so you'd still get that crispy skin because you're increasing kind of, in a sense, your surface area by creating these microscopic bubbles on the surface of the skin.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I have made a couple of turkeys in my life. Okay. A few turkeys in my life. And some of them have been disappointing because they were dry and not that tasty. And so I'm excited to try this. And in fact, with our little Orphan Andy party, I think we're actually going to buy 2 smaller turkeys and do one a wet brine and one a dry brine to see how they turn out.
Oh, that's exciting.
And compare.
Nice.
I know. I'm excited. So
That's great.
I know it'll be fun. So I love turkey if it's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you guys try wet or dry brining, then give us a shout out and let us know how it goes.
Yeah. And if anybody has any additional thoughts about how the baking powder makes the skin crispier, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the science a little bit more. Okay. Go.
Nice. I don't know. Can I just make a confession?
Yes. Let's hear it.
I don't know what I'm eating for Thanksgiving.
You don't?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I'm going to Friendsgiving.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. For those who don't know what Friendsgiving is, please tell our audience what it is, Sharon.
So it's kind of like I was saying before. It's, Thanksgiving is sometimes a free holiday, but Friendsgiving has started to, like in my life, it's always been kind of this free holiday. It's just about gathering and food. But recent trends have cropped up, and Friendsgiving is one of them. And it's now officially, there are 2 days that you can have Friendsgiving, either the day before Thanksgiving or the day after.
Oh, okay.
And what you
Just
do
in
is,
the evening or whenever you decide to. Okay. Because I feel like there's a lot of people that may still work on the day before.
Yeah.
And some people that are fighting people at the store on Black Friday.
On the day after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the loose guideline for it.
Okay.
My Friendsgiving that I'm going to is on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh.
And we're actually doing a brunch.
So as to not interfere with
Any family gatherings that may or may not happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I went to this Friendsgiving last year and it was a super great time. It was a whole bunch of different friend circles
yes
that this couple knew. They had just bought a house together,
Mhm.
and so they wanted to kind of celebrate that. And her family didn't live close by, still doesn't. And so they had a brunch, and they invited different groups of friends to come over and spend the morning with them.
How many people ended up going?
Oh, I'd say probably it turned out about 15.
Oh, that's good.
So it was a good
Yeah,
12,
it's a good
15 people. So it was a good number. And we basically crowded into their living room, and, you know, it was comfortable.
Yes.
I mean, but you were kind of close to each other and stuff. I mean, we're sitting on chairs and couches and stuff like that, but it was really fun. And we did it potluck style. And so they provided some quiches, some turkey quiches that were delicious.
That is awesome.
And so that was the turkey basically that I had on Thanksgiving Day, was in a quiche.
That is awesome. I mean, it's
And
brunch. I
we
was wondering
had-
how the turkey was going to fit into the picture.
We had a wonderful pie that she had made.
Oh.
I've talked about this pie on our pie episode
We
before.
did, you guys.
Oh, so good. It was a savory aged cheddar, I think rosemary crust. So
Mhm.
good.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free, yeah, because she's gluten-free.
Mm-hmm.
It was delicious.
And it was pear.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I thought that was
a pear
lovely.
and cheddar pie.
So
So good.
Good. That sounds lovely.
Yeah. And then, like, I mean, some people brought bacon. Some people brought, like,
Bacon.
there was, like, I think hash browns made an appearance. So, I mean, we had, like, some Thanksgiving-ish type things. Like, there was potatoes. There was turkey. We had
in a different interpreted form, though.
ham, but it was actually bacon.
Yeah.
And I brought my holiday go-to.
What is your holiday go-to?
It's Gluck wine.
Excuse me?
Gluck wine.
How do you spell that?
It's Gluchwein. So it's German. It's mulled wine.
Oh, I
And it
have
was
heard
really
of mulled
good.
wine. Okay, so for people that don't know what mulled wine is, what is mulled wine? And that's MULLED.
right. So it's just you make a simple syrup and you put some mulling spices in there, like some cinnamon and clove. I've seen star anise in there
Mhm.
and nutmeg and things like that. And then you combine it with a wine or a cider or a juice.
Oh.
You can definitely make it non-alcoholic.
Mhm, mhm.
Great that way.
What kind of juice would you use? Curious.
You could use either grape or apple.
And what kind
Both
of
would be
wine would you
good.
use? A red?
You would want to use a drier type of red.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know what a dry red would be, an example would be a Cabernet.
Okay. Thank you. Because I wouldn't know.
So something that's slightly less sweet.
Okay. Okay.
A less sweet red.
And it's a hit, I'm sure.
Oh, totally. Because who doesn't want to drink mulled wine? See? Just thinking about it makes me like mix up the words. But who doesn't want to drink that at 11 o'clock?
So so when you combine these spices and with your liquid of choice, right?
Right. So
Do you warm it?
yeah. So I've got my friend Captain America, my friend Josh.
mhm.
I call him Captain America because he kind of embodies that idealist personality and that's his favorite superhero. And it totally fits his
It fits him.
personality. He gave me his recipe for mulled wine and he's very free with it. So this is Captain America's recipe for mulled wine.
Okay.
You can adapt it to be a mulled cider or a mulled grape juice.
Mm-hmm.
Both are very good. So what you do is it's a cup of sugar, a cup of water, 1 orange, 1 cinnamon stick.
1 orange is in like cut up or just
Yeah. So and then a 750 milliliter bottle of wine, which converts to a little over 25 fluid ounces.
Okay.
It's like 25.3 fluid ounces.
Okay.
So you'd want some unsweetened juice.
Mm-hmm.
Just some straight
Straight, and that's why
juice
yeah,
if you're
like
making it
a
non-alcoholic.
cider would work.
And just cut down on your sugar a little bit.
Mhm. Okay.
And then you'll also need about 10 to 20 cloves.
10 to 20 cloves. Okay.
So what you do is you combine the water, the sugar, the cinnamon stick, and then you'll squeeze the orange for all the juice that it has in it. And you'll put that in a pan to boil. And you want it to reduce and simmer for about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll put the cloves after it's reduced and simmered. You'll put the cloves into each half of the orange. So if you've got 10 to 20 cloves, you're just poking them in to
Yeah.
the orange peel.
Yeah, because those things they really are just like this little I don't know how you would describe it. It looks like a little short stick that's kind of pokey.
Yeah. So these are whole cloves. This isn't ground cloves.
Yeah.
And so they're easy to poke into the orange. And you'll do that. And you'll add that orange with the cloves in it, both the halves of the orange with the cloves in it, to the simmering water. And then you add your bottle of wine or juice. And then you heat it through to the desired temperature that you want.
So is mulled wine typically...
It's typically served warm.
It is warm. Okay.
So I make it in a stock pot and I bring a ladle.
Okay. And then everybody can just put it into their little teacup or whatever vessel of choice.
Yeah, it's great.
I bet it smells dang good.
Oh, it makes your house smell amazing. And mulling spices are always a really classy gift to give the neighbors and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It just makes your house smell wonderful.
Yeah.
So is there a history behind mulled wine? I'm sure it's some sort of English something or another.
Well,
that's what I think of.
Yeah, British mulled wine is really popular. And it's usually served at Christmas and less commonly throughout the winter. They also do mulled cider, and they used to do more mulled ales, but not so much anymore. The first recorded spiced and heated wines was in Rome during the 2nd century. So it goes way back.
Yes. Those are good spices, though. I could see why they would have tried to put those things together back in the day.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of different variations and combinations. Like I said, I've had like some of those Chinese spices in the wine. Mm-hmm. Really yummy. So it's just kind of different.
It is different.
It's something that you can really play with. Some people put raisins in there.
I don't know if
I'm not. I mean, the raisins kind of reconstitute and it makes it a little interesting.
I know. I was like...
But I'm not a fan generally of raisins, especially just floaties and liquids.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
I don't think I would be up for that.
But there's tons of different flavors and stuff. So it's fun to play around with.
I'm curious to see if any of our listeners, hello listener, have you ever had mulled wine or mulled cider before?
If you haven't, you should totally do it.
I think I want to try it.
Try it with a grape or an apple juice.
I think I'm going to do an apple. I feel like apple would be really conducive to all of those spices.
Mm-hmm. Note to all of you, don't be like me. Don't leave your mulling spices unattended. I thought it would be a super good idea one winter when my house wasn't smelling so fresh from all of the cooking smells of the season.
Right.
And just there being like several feet of snow outside. So I wasn't about to air out my house and open the windows.
Right. It's cold.
It just felt kind of stuffy and stale in my house. So I was just going to cut through it with some mulling spices and put those on the stove. And it was awesome. It did so well. You know, I just put some star anise, some cinnamon sticks, some nutmeg and cloves, and I just threw it in some water and I put it on the stove and I just kind of let it simmer.
Oh, okay.
Simmer away.
But
I left it unattended.
Oh, okay.
And I went down into my basement and, you know, I hung out for a while. I was so proud of myself because I felt so Becky Homecky.
Yeah.
With my mulling spices on the stove.
Good work.
Like I solved my stale air problem like a champ.
Like a champ.
And then I ruined it because my friends came over and I didn't hear them because I was in the basement. But luckily I was expecting them. My door was unlocked. And I hear one of them yell at the top of the stairs, "Sharon, something's burning up here." And I run up the stairs, but he already has my pan in hand. He has my back door open and he's flinging the smoking pan. It is smoking and it's not just kind of smoking. It's all scorched and he's throwing it into the snow.
Oh, yeah. That was smart. It was smart.
Because it didn't burn my house down.
It didn't burn your house down. So all the liquid boiled
out and I actually had to throw out that pan.
I'm sure you did. I mean... You did throw it out, and you officially
that pan
had
was
to
not salvageable.
After that,
it was an older pan. It was one that you actually gave me.
Oh, really? Oh, I wonder which one that was.
It's one of the smaller ones.
Oh, okay.
It said "Made in Spain." It was really nice.
Oh, I think I know which one that is.
Yeah, there was 2 of them. So now there's only one of them.
Okay.
So like the double boiler that I used to use that was so handy, no
Not
longer the
so
double
much
because it boiled.
It's just the boiler now. Oh, I love these kind of stories.
Yeah. But that's not the worst thing that's ever happened at Thanksgiving time is the burnt spices. One time,
what
was
the worst
my
thing?
original Friendsgiving that I've had. So I've been to 2. One was in college in the late 90s. And my cousins, I had several cousins that lived in the area and they all lived in the same building.
Oh.
So my brother and 2 other cousins lived in the same apartment building on the same floor. And so we decided to have Thanksgiving together.
And you guys were all going to college, I'm assuming, and out of the house and
Yep.
far away from home.
And so one house cooked the turkey, one house cooked the desserts, and one house cooked the side dishes.
Okay. I think that's a good.
And then we divided up
distribution.
the moms and grandma onto which house would call which house.
Oh, that's really smart.
Turkey called my aunt, desserts called my mom for the pies, and then side dishes called my grandma because we were trying to make her baked beans.
Oh, okay.
Because
Well,
my family has beans every Thanksgiving.
that's a little different one. Okay.
Southern baked beans.
Yes. Yeah.
The barbecue baked beans. So my brother was in charge of the entertainment for this gathering. I think he was also doing pies. And as we were cleaning up our huge dinner that we had, and we were pretty proud of ourselves.
Because it turned out.
None of us had ever really made Thanksgiving
Oh,
dinner
good.
before.
It's a good accomplishment. It's like, be
Yeah.
proud. I am proud when I have pulled off something that.
I mean, we had a couple of fails,
large.
but it wasn't really that bad. It
Yeah,
was like,
okay.
oh, okay. That's
next time,
fine.
I'll make a note for next time.
Yeah, but
It's
we
fine.
still ate it and it was still super good.
Good.
It's one of my favorite Thanksgivings in memory. And then we heard an explosion outside
Outside?
the apartment. And my cousin's apartment overlooked the parking lot. The window in the dining room where we all were overlooked the parking lot. And we see my brother running away from the dumpster that he caught on fire.
Did he catch the
Because he
dumpster on fire?
wanted to light fireworks as part of the entertainment.
Oh my goodness. That's illegal on Thanksgiving, I want to point out, I think, in most states.
Yeah. In the state we're in, it
Definitely.
certainly was. And the flames were quite high.
The flames.
Luckily, one of my cousins was the manager for the apartment, so he
Oh.
didn't get in trouble.
Thank goodness, because he probably would have gotten kicked out.
It was good time, was
Oh.
had by all, and I have
My
a few
goodness.
pictures of my brother running away from the dumpster that he set on fire.
My goodness.
Don't fry your own turkey, because that'll set your place on fire.
Don't set your place on fire.
Don't walk away from your mulling spices,
It'll set your place on fire.
and don't do fireworks for Thanksgiving.
Don't set your place on fire.
But something that you could do if you want to have your own Friendsgiving, an Orphan Annie Friendsgiving,
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
take some tips from Martha and Snoop's.
Oh,
Potluck.
yeah.
They've got a new show.
They've got a new show, you
and
guys.
they've got some fun things to do.
Yep. Okay, so if you guys don't know who Martha Stewart is, where have you been living this entire time?
Under a rock.
Under a rock. And then there's Snoop Dogg, and he's...
And if you don't know who he is, you're under an even bigger rock.
Yeah, it's like, you know they're both famous, but they're so opposite.
Yeah.
I would say Martha Stewart's homemaking business maven,
Guru.
very put together, very prim and proper almost. And Snoop Dogg is a rapper.
But they're making it work. They're
Yeah.
frying chicken and they are entertaining their guests, and
Yes.
it is fun.
Yeah.
So if you're intimidated, watch a couple episodes and see how easy it can be.
it is, there's ways to entertain and make it interesting, because Thanksgiving can be a little rough too, but it doesn't have to be. It's a fun gathering. You guys just remember that. It's a fun gathering.
Food, friends, family, games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I hope your Thanksgiving is awesome.
Yes, I agree.
Full of new and old traditions.
Yes. And good food. Our podcast is brought to you today by our awesome and food-loving sponsors. Our sponsor today is Smith's Food and Drug. We are so excited to work with Smith's Food and Drug. First of all, I'll let Sharon kind of highlight something that may help you at this time of the year.
They have the Gather Together holiday dinners. There's 3 ways to order. You can order online at yourorderonline.com. You can see a deli associate at Smith's, or you can call 1-877-894-3707. And they have tons of options. You can get a turkey dinner, a ham dinner, or a prime rib dinner.
I just want the prime rib dinner. that is pretty impressive because they have all the fixins too.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not just the turkey or the ham or whatever.
Yeah, this isn't lowbrow here. We've got mashed potatoes. You could get cheesy broccoli rice, corn with butter sauce, turkey gravy, green bean casserole, cinnamon spiced apples, Hawaiian dinner rolls, scalloped potatoes.
That just sounds so good.
The choices are endless.
And the cool thing is that everything will be ready for you.
Yeah. And some of these prices that they have might be a tad bit cheaper than what you'd spend on groceries.
No. I was about to say, I think it is cheaper. Like if you get their express turkey dinner, their basic one, and that serves up to 6 people, that one's $49.99.
$50, guys.
You guys, if I had to buy a turkey sometimes, that's like $20 sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So
easy.
So with everything else, why don't you just have Smith's make it for you? Take that little bit of stress out of your life and just order it.
It's delicious.
And
then you can just concentrate on your guests and
enjoying each other's company.
The fun of the day.
Yeah.
Have a turkey bowl.
Have a turkey bowl.
Don't break any fingers.
Yep. And you don't even have to worry about the turkey. So you just go pick it up and you are good to go. So Sharon, can you remind us again how you go about ordering those? And obviously it's for the folks that are where there's a Smith's Food and Drug or a Smith's Marketplace in your area.
And just a reminder, Smith's is what Kroger is back east and in the south, and what Fry's and Ralph's is in the west.
Yes.
So you can go to yourorderonline.com. You can see one of the deli associates in the store, or you can call 1-877-894-3707.
Thanks, Smith's Food and Drug. This is really a nice option. You should go check it out.
Gather together holiday dinners. It's from Smith's.
Woohoo!
Let's have a food fight.
Food fight, food fight, food fight, food fight. It's winter.
This is the segment where you can email us with your relationship questions relating to food. Email us at hungrysquared@gmail.com.
Disclaimer, we are in no way professional relationship experts, but you should totally listen to us anyway. If you need professional help, please seek it out.
Food fight, food fight. The food fight segment of the show. Here we go.
Winter, where's this week's question from?
Okay, it's short and sweet, and I think it's a cry for help.
What?
Let me read it.
Let's help them.
Dear Hungry Squared, I have a problem where I like cupcakes more than people right now. And this person underlined right now. How do I restore my faith in humanity? Yours, down but not out of cupcakes.
Oh. Wait, so read that again.
Says,
sorry.
I have a problem where I like cupcakes more than people right now.
Oh. Maybe current events have you down.
Maybe your Facebook newsfeed has you down.
Maybe you just lost your job.
Maybe you broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Maybe your pet just crossed over the rainbow bridge.
Maybe
you're having a bad hair day.
Yeah. Maybe
you need a vacation.
We all need vacations. I was just thinking that maybe things that you thought were going to turn out the way they were supposed to turn out didn't turn out the way it should have. Or you were hoping it to be turning out.
Yeah.
And you're disappointed, like super, super disappointed.
As other people can probably commiserate with you.
Yeah. Gosh, you know what? I'm sorry. Because, there are definitely times when you do like cupcakes more than people. Because what's up with that? People can be mean.
They can be.
Yeah.
But you know what's not mean?
What?
Sharing your cupcakes.
Because look, you are not out of cupcakes as you've signed off. So we know that you got cupcakes, friend.
Yeah, friend, you need to share those cupcakes.
Because sharing food helps. I think that's what I would say to this person. Like, share your cupcakes.
Yeah. I mean, I think food goes a long way in uniting and serving other people. And it backhandedly serves you back.
Yes.
And not to manipulate a situation or anything, but food unites people.
It does.
We were talking about Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving. It's an entire holiday focused around food and togetherness. And that's what holidays are, but you can have that any day of the year.
Yes.
You can provide food to other people who may need it or just may need a smile from you.
Yeah.
Like if you knocked on your next door neighbor's door, you know that they're not homeless. You probably know a little bit about their situation. But maybe you don't know like what's really going on with them. But if you gave them a cupcake,
that might have done something for them.
Yeah. And it'll do something for you back by helping somebody else out.
Yeah. I will say that this week has been a little rough for us as well. And it was, kind of, I wouldn't say hopeless, but just like, what is going on?
Sometimes you feel like you've had the rug pulled out under you. Sometimes you've had a rough week.
Yeah. There's times it's like, what happened? And then Lee, who has a problem, everybody, of making way too much food.
Oh, the man cooks for an army.
Yeah. I'm like, there's only 3 of us here. What is wrong with you?
He's a born chef.
Yeah. He's feeding for people. He's feeding people. And so we just decided to bring we try to divide this big stock pot of soup up to different people. We brought some over to the neighbors, and it was just like, give me your bowl. I'll fill it up with soup. And that makes people's day. Because it I know as simple as that is, it's like you might not see eye to eye on certain things and you might not necessarily get along with that person, but you're like, hey, I'd like to share a bowl of soup with you.
Share goodness. I mean, share kindness, share goodness. And that's what food does. Like you notice that when somebody has a baby and they're stressed out, or somebody goes through a big life change, like maybe there's a death in their family, or maybe they have lost their job, or there's illness in the family, something like that. People always bring food.
Yes.
You don't necessarily need to know the reasons why somebody feels down, or maybe they don't feel down. But if you feel down, share your food with them.
And you won't feel so down.
Yeah. That's one small, kind way that you can build yourself up and build other people up too.
Yeah. Let's be kind.
Share your food.
Share your food. It's always nice. I think that was nice and tidy.
It was. Simple answer.
Simple answer.
Good things. Thanks for joining us on our latest episode of Food Nerdery. You can find us at hungrysquared.com, on Instagram at hungrysquared.
Woohoo! Go check us out there because it's kind of fun.
Check us out and follow us.
Yep. And you can find us on hungrysquared.com, like Sharon mentioned, or on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music, and anywhere you find your podcasts. So you guys, it's been super fun. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We will obviously have an episode next week, but this was our Thanksgiving episode, so we want to say Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, love you. Bye.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.